Previously, we talked about two men destroyed by their relationship with action. Hamlet, who thinks too much to act, and Macbeth, who acts too completely to think. Now we move to Chekhov and the three women who do neither, who simply wait, and what that waiting actually costs them. Three Sisters is one of the most misunderstood plays in the repertoire. People see inaction, people see melancholy, people see characters who want to go to Moscow and never go. That is the surface. Chekhov is never just the surface. He's the quick plot and what sets in motion the play. Three sisters and a brother live in a provincial Russian town. Their father has recently died. A military regiment is stationed nearby, bringing temporary life and energy into the world. The sisters dream of returning to Moscow, where they grow up, but they never go. That is the plot. What the play is actually about is something far more complex and far more human. What makes the Three Sisters so heartbreaking is that each sister is trapped inside a completely different relationship with time. And none of those relationships allows them to actually live in the present fully. Masha is living in the present but cannot bear it. Everything she feels is too big for the life she has been given. A marriage she did not choose, a provincial town that suffocates her so much that the affair with Vershinin is not a weakness, it's the only moments she feels fully alive. And deep down, she knows it cannot last. Irina is living entirely in the future, Moscow. Moscow is not a place. Moscow is the idea that things will eventually make sense. That if she can get there, everything will resolve itself. Olga is living in duty. She has quietly given up her wants so completely and for so long that she has almost forgotten she had them. She holds everyone together because if she stops holding, she doesn't know who she is. Three completely different ways of avoiding the present. And all of the three lead to the same things: stillness, waiting, and loss. And then there is Natasha, the outsider who enters the house quietly and takes it completely. She's not more intelligent than the sisters. She's not more interesting than the sisters. She's not even more sympathetic. But she has one thing the trio entirely lacks. Her objective never wavers. Not for a single scene, not for a single moment. While the sisters dream and wait and feel and analyze, Natasha simply does. She is a doer. She's in the present, completely, always pursuing what she wants with total clarity. In plain language, she wants and she acts on the wanting, every time, without any hesitation. Chekhov is not celebrating her, he is making an uncomfortable observation. Clarity of purpose is more powerful than sensitivity, intelligence, or beauty. The people born in that house lose it. The woman who wanted it has taken it. That is an uncomfortable truth. Andrei is also worth a moment because he is often underplayed. He begins the play with genuine promise. He's intellectual, sensitive. He is expected to have a great academic career. And then he marries Natasha and quietly disappears. And by the end, he's pushing a pram and gambling away the family's inheritance. His journey is the most silent tragedy in the play. Nobody notices it happening, including him. In plain language, he had a want once and he let it go so gradually he never felt it leave. An interesting point. Chekhov never lets his characters say what they actually mean. That is the whole technique of his plays. They talk about Moscow when they mean, I cannot bear this life. They talk about work when they mean, I have lost myself. They talk about the weather when they mean, I am desperately lonely. The actor's job in Chekhov is to play what is underneath, always. The text is almost never the truth. It is what the character uses to avoid the truth. Pretty much like England nowadays. And the director's job is to make sure the audience fills the gap between what is said and what is actually meant. That gap is where all the emotion lives. And when it works correctly, the audience feels things the characters cannot say. And that feeling is unbearable in the most beautiful way. What draws me to Chekhov is that his characters are never victims of the circumstance alone, because they are also victims of themselves, of their own inability to bridge the gap between what they want and what they actually do. That gap is the humanity in drama. And Chekhov draws it with more precision and with more compassion than almost any other playwright who was ever alive. Three Sisters is not a play about people who cannot go to Moscow. It is a play about people who have found 1,000 reasons to stay exactly where they are, and who call that waiting living. I know so many of those. So, in Three Sisters, the outside enters the house and takes it. In the cherry orchard, the outsider buys the whole state. Same Chekhov, same uncomfortable truth. But this time he makes even harder to look away. So if that interests you, there's a lot more where this came from.